So today we got some Ellie Wilson products here that we're going to kind of review, set up, my kind of thought on them. We've got a set of dies for 22 Creedmoor. We've got the Arbor press from KM, and then we've got Ellie Wilson's newer press that accepts standard 7/8 dies. This press is super smooth, very pleased so far. I've done some testing with it before I did this video to see how it works, operates, and everything like that. One of the nice things is on this press too, it's got a spot so you can change your lever location in case you want to go right-handed, left-handed, or sit on a different side and stuff like that. But one of the biggest things is from shell plate to basically where the die is, that's 3.5 inches, which is a lot of clearance. I really like the openness on it. It's on bearings, so it runs super smooth, as we can see right here. Super smooth. The shell plate adapter is also pretty sweet. Here you've got your standard shell plate right here. Okay. And all you got to do is take this, spin it in here to the orientation that you want, right there, and then you're going to take the wrench that Ellie Wilson provides and just snug it. You don't want to go too crazy tight or anything like that. All you do is want to snug. And then your shell plate is secure, and it's going to be aligned with your die every single time. So I do have this on a quick change from Inline Fabrication. They do a dedicated one, but for me, I wanted to do a quick change as I could switch this Arbor press into the quick change. I got a blank quick change from Ellie Wilson, not Ellie Wilson, but Inline Fabrication, and then I made this so I can just switch these in and out if I wanted to, or if I wanted to switch to a trimmer or anything like that, right? So next thing we're going to talk about here is Ellie Wilson's. So they have some bushing dies and die kits right here. So they sent these to me, full disclosure. This is a full length sizing with the bushing inside. This is the micrometer seater, and this is a case gauge. So the micrometer seater we will use with Arbor press. This we are going to use with this press here. So if you don't have micrometer seater and you just want to use your standard Redding RCBS Hornady die, you can use it with this press with zero problem. The Arbor press just is nice because you can run that other die that they run as well. So setting up the die and everything like that is super easy. The main thing first is you want to take a loaded round with the brass that you're going to be using and measuring it so you can figure out what size bushing you want, right? And so you're going to zero your calipers, come and measure right there. So I'm at 2.25. So ultimately, I'm going to pick from these 3 bushings that they sent me, because we kind of talked about before. We have 2.50, 2.49, and 2.48. So we are going to pick the 2.49 one bushing for this. And we'll show how to do that set that up here in the die in a second. But that's kind of the basics of it. They do have a spot underneath here where the primers will fall as you decap, and you can just put a bucket underneath. They have this device right here that can go up underneath if you wish to plug it, and so you're not dropping much primers on the floor or on a bucket there. The only thing I have found, if you do leave this up in there and decap, sometimes primers do get stuck up in there. You got to run something up in there and knock them free. Not a huge deal. That is the one thing about this press that I was like, oh, that's interesting. But otherwise than that, it runs super smooth. So we will go ahead and change camera angles here, and we'll talk about setting up this die. All right, so we have our full-length sizing die here that is set to run with a bushing, which is right there. And then we are going to run the bushing for the die. This one's going to be the 249. That's going to give me my desired 3/1000 neck tension that I'm looking for. And so there are 2 different ends to this bushing die. And I prefer to run it with the letters facing up here. So it's super easy. You just unthread your die right here. Unthread. We're going to take it this side facing up, drop it straight down in there, and then we're going to take this and thread it back in there, and it will seat it down in there. and just how you exactly want it. And then if you're decapping your brass, I've already decapped my brass and cleaned it and annealed it, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. But I usually just run that flush right there. So the next thing is going to be is we're going to set up our die here to run it, right? So, adjust the camera real quick. So we're going to take our die, our ram, as you can see right there. Maybe, if I can get it in there right. So, the ram is up, right? And the goal is to run this down to where it touches. And I desire a little cam over when I do this, which this press you can do. And what we're going to do is so basically it's kind of set up right there, but we are going to use a shoulder bumping gauge to test this. So we're going to grab a tool real quick so we can check for our shoulder bump. Make sure we're not bumping it too much. And what we'll do is we're going to grab some Imperial sizing wax right here. This stuff, okay? And we are going to take it, get a little bit on our fingers. A little bit on our fingers. And just rub a little bit on there. Okay? Run our ram down. Put our piece of brass in. And we're going to run it up. Oh, almost forgot the most important step, guys, first. We got to take and zero our calipers to make sure that we're getting the desired effect for the bushing. For the shoulder bump. So, take the zero calipers. And take this, put them in here. As so. Okay. We're going to zero it. And we're going to run this thing up in. And see how it did. So we got, oh, look at that, guys. We couldn't have asked for anything better. Well, maybe not. Almost. It showed -1 for a second. So, okay, we're going to run it down just a hair more. And try it again. There, okay. So -2. Perfectly happy with that. Always looking for about a shoulder bump of 1 to 2 thou. And so we got that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, run our ram back up. Okay. And then we are going to set our lock ring here. So with our ram ran up like this, our die isn't going to move. Okay. So we're going to run that down. We're going to take the Allen wrench that's provided from Ellie Wilson, and we're going to tighten this down. Okay. And apparently I had the screw ran out really far. That's okay. Okay. Nice and tight. And with that bushing in there, it gave us our desired neck tension that we wanted, right? So you can see where the bushing kind of went down and touched it. But there we have a full-length size piece of brass with our bushing done on there. Okay, so let's do one more and get a little bit more lube. We're gonna put a little bit of lube on there, some Imperial sizing wax, run it up in there. Feels really nice. Take a rag. We're gonna wipe her off. Okay. And look at that. 2 thou shoulder bump again. So, okay. So it's that easy running it through, right, guys? Through the die, as you can see. So it's that easy setting up on the press. The press runs super smooth, and it can't get much easier than that. So the nice thing about this is, I'll show you guys here in a second, is with this quick change fabrication thing, once I've got all my brass size, once I size the rest of the brass, I'm going to go ahead and switch out to the arbor press. And we'll get our power charges and our piece is primed, and I'll show you guys how the arbor press runs here in a minute. But it's literally that easy with that press. Press is super smooth. It's going to allow for some great repeatability. So we're going to go ahead and get the rest of everything sized and then primed and powder thrown in, and then we'll show you how the arbor press works, guys. All right, real quick, before we prep our brass and prime it and all that, I want to talk about the Ellie Wilson case gauge that you can get. This is meant to measure your head space from here to here, also your overall length, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the first step is to use it. You're going to stick it down in there and run a straight edge over it, or the Ellie Wilson depth micrometer, which we don't have, but so basically just using a tongue depressor. And you can see, so the step is 5 thousandths from here to here. And what you want for a bolt gun is 2,000 shoulder bump, and for a semi-automatic like an AR-15 or something like that, you want 4 thousandths. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our fired brass, we're going to get a little bit of redding here, and we're going to put a little bit of lube on there. And then we're going to run it up into the full-length sizing die with the bushing. We are going to clean it off real quick and then stick it back in there. And you can noticeably see the difference in the shoulder bump, but also you can run a straight edge back over it and know that you're not sticking too far up. And you want to note between this top step and the low step, like I said, is 0.005 step. And then so check the length, lay the case down full, and then we'll go that way. So basically now, to check the overall length, right, like I said, we're going to put the case standing up, we're going to flip this over, right, and then we're going to slide it over and check the length. What we're looking for here is to see if this is either too short or if it's too long. And we'll know if we need to trim if this runs over it and catches. It's really that easy. So with this sitting perfectly flat, perfect in here, we know we bumped 2 thousandths. And like I said, there is a gauge that you can put over to use for micrometer. But as you can see, we are good below that, so we know we haven't bumped our shoulder too far back, and we're ready to rock and roll with this. So that's how you use the Ellie Wilson case gauge. Super handy. I had used it wrong in the past. They do have a very good video on their YouTube you can go check out as well. And we're going to get on to prepping the brass and seeing calipers and stuff like that. So, okay, let's go ahead and get this changed out for the arbor press. We're going to loosen the wing nuts there. So once again, we're just using the inline fabrication quick change setup. We have the arbor press on here. This was a blank, and then I installed this on here by drilling a couple holes and getting it set up. So all we got to do is tighten these wing nuts here at the bottom. So and we're done. Okay, so I've already got this set to my desired height as I wanted, but there is a bolt on the other side of this that you use for an Allen wrench, and you can raise and lower this, but this is set to my desired length as of right now. So let's go ahead and get in a little closer here. So, okay, so now we are going to use the micro cedar die here, micrometer cedar die. And so, as you can see, it's in 50,000 increments, where, 0 to 15,000, and you basically will turn it to where your desired location is. So we're going to go ahead and zero it out right here, and we're going to grab a piece of already prepped, powder charged, and our Barnes 69 grain match burner in here, and we're going to set it right here, like so. This does come out. You don't need to have this come out. You make sure you tighten this Allen screw here, or this will adjust up and down. You can adjust your seating height a little bit by this right here, if you want to fine tune it here. So, but you want to leave that in there like this. And then you're going to just set it over the round right there. Try to get even as possible. Apply some pressure, and bam, it's a loaded round. But we're going to be a little long. So we're shooting for 2.550. So we're going to be a little long. So we're basically at 2.600. So we're 50 thousandths long. Yeah, 50 thousandths long. So what we're going to do is set our round right there. We're going to turn this, and we're going to go, I tell you what, we're going to go 25. And we'll try it there first. So we'll take our round, back right there. And we're going to apply a little pressure, and it's seated. They do make a gauge where you can see the force applied as well that you could always get. So, okay. So we're 70, so we're at 2.573, so we're 23 thousandths long right now. So we're going to go, so we'll go there, and we'll see where we're at, and we'll fine tune if we need to. A little bit of pressure, felt it go down. And let's double check. Okay, so we're 12 thousandths long. So we'll go right there and see how it looks. There we go. So ultimately we're 2 thousandths long. We will go ahead and split the difference and go 1 there. And then we're going to measure from cartridge base to ogive and see how consistent we're going to be. Let's see. Because this is a hollow tip where it's going to change. So there you go. There's dead on exactly where we want to be. Okay, so we're going to take our pair of calipers with the Hornady overall, our ogive measurement. We're going to 0. So this isn't going to be overall length. This is going to be cartridge base to ogive. So we'll spin it, get it nice and set. And then we'll 0 it. And let's do another one. So we can check repeatability. We'll put it right in there, like so. Down in there. Oh, the other thing, when you got it where you want to use Allen wrench that is provided, and you're going to tighten this down so it doesn't move on you, okay? So we're going to go ahead and tighten it. There we go. Nice and tightened. And let's go ahead and seat the bullet like so. And there we go. Let's pretty consistent, guys. I'll take that all day long. So that's simple. There's 2 loaded rounds. That is a very easy way to set it up, get into, loading them and go from there. I'm very pleased with how this stuff runs. The tooling on this, guys, is incredible. If you haven't tried an Ellie Wilson, either case gauge or the seating stem die or even the full sizing die in that press, I would highly recommend it. I'd check it out. And also go see what else they got. Ellie Wilson, they have all kinds of stuff. And they've been around for a while, and highly recommend it.